traps trapping her, alone, within their shadowed home. Her dour uncle had not found her until the next day, and, by then, her fear had deepened until it had scarred her very soul. It did not help her to conquer her fears when every time she looked into a mirror, she saw her mother. Adina was not sure how exactly she matched the woman's looks, but she knew she had the same thick, unruly raven hair and the same faintly slanted, clear green eyes. That was more than enough to revive the painful memories. The lack of love and attention she got at her uncle's home ensured that she had nothing with which to soften those harsh memories. "Did your mother toss you aside?" she whispered, as she undid the child's swaddling and carefully looked him over before covering him back up again, relieved to find no injuries. "At least ye are too young to ken what has happened to you and where you are. Ye will nae be scarred by the painful memories of the fear. Why do they do this to their bairns, laddie? Mothers are nigh supposed to cast aside their bairns like the bones of a finished meal." She held him close, carefully stood up, and began to examine the area closely, looking for any sign that might tell her why a child of 6 months or so had been left to fend for itself in the forest. "Mayhap I blacken your mother's name unfairly," she said as she crouched and frowned down at the clear sign of hoofprints on the moist forest floor. "There may be an even darker reason for ye to be left here to die." Just as she was trying to figure out how many horses had been there, she heard a sound that chilled her blood. Someone was riding toward them. She could hear the sound of horses crushing the leaves and undergrowth beneath their hooves. Even as she set the baby down, stood protectively in front of him, and drew her small sword, she heard men's voices. She patted Gar's big head as he stood beside her. She straightened her shoulders and waited, determined that no one would touch the child until she was sure he would be safe and loved. Lucaeus MacRae raised his gaze from the ground where he had been searching for tracks and reined his horse in so sharply it startled the horses of his 2 companions into rearing slightly. As his cousins Ian and Andrew struggled to calm their mounts, Lucaeus studied the vision before him. He had spent 3 grueling days searching for his nephew, and the last thing he had expected to find was a belligerent little woman and a massive dog standing between him and what he had been seeking. She was a tiny woman, in both stature and height, made to look even tinier by the trees towering all around her. Thick, raven black hair tumbled around her slim shoulders in a wild silken tangle. Her soft grey gown fitted snugly over full breasts, and her thick hair brushed against a tiny waist. The way her skirts were kilted up revealed slender, well-shaped legs. Her small, heart-shaped face was dominated by wide, heavily lashed eyes of a green so true and rich he could see the colour even from where he stood. He knew that they would be breathtaking up close. It would be easy to dismiss her for some pretty little lass, no more, and certainly no threat, except for the small sword in her delicate white hands. She not only held the weapon as if she knew how to use it, but the expression on her pretty face told him that she was fully prepared to do so. He dropped his gaze to the rag-wrapped child on the ground just behind her small booted feet. Lucaeus could not see the baby's face, but the thick chestnut curls spilling out of the top of the wrappings told him that it was his nephew Malcolm. When he looked back at the girl, he felt suspicion and anger push aside his attraction and surprise. "I have come to take my nephew home, wench," he said, and pointed at the baby. "And what proof do you have to tell me that he truly is your bloodkin?" she demanded.